Well. Let's all give in to the Lane Hutson hype, shall we? I feel as though every time I make a Lane Hutson video, I've got to wear my boy Andrei Markov's jersey because, as we all know, when Lane Hutson gets to Montreal, whenever that happens to be, he's going to be the next quarterback for the Montreal Canadiens. By quarterback, I mean power play quarterback. Thank God for editing. That being said, all the hype around this guy lately, the 4-assist game that we just saw, and you know what? I'm going to be making more videos on Lane Hutson at some point, but I thought today would be a good time to introduce to you guys a nickname that I want to coin for Lane Hutson. And that nickname simply is the Ankle Breaker. Yes, the inspiration from this video did come from Elite Prospects video entitled Caden Gooley Wakes Up Every Day and Chooses Violence. Lane Hutson breaking ankles is inciting violence. That's not my goal here. It's just to have some fun. But honestly, after watching every highlight of him lately, it's just incredible what he's able to do on the ice. And also, the hype around him is real, and Elite Prospects is doing a great job of covering him, as is a lot of other outlets, as we know. But it's a great name for him because he actually is an elite prospect, and he deserves that title based on everything we've seen so far. And from everything I've even watched on this latest video with Elite Prospects, posted on January 25th of this year, 23,000 plus views right now it has, and it goes over in detail so many facets of Lane Hutson's game, but it also talks about his flaws too, and how probably the worst part of his game right now is defensively, and that is concerning if you're a defenseman, and especially a defense prospect. But that being said, we know the kind of team that Montreal Canadiens are trying to build, a high-octane, skilled, offensive, creative, fast team. And Lane Hutson not only fits that mold, but he is kind of going to be, to me, one of the foundational pieces of that mold and this team going forward. This certainly won't be the last video I'm making on Lane Hutson because, I mean, I've certainly already made a video about the fact that I believe when he arrives in Montreal, he will be the new power play quarterback and also just completely change the entire look of the Habs power play. He's the most dynamic, creative defenseman by far in the 2022 NHL entry draft, and definitely the biggest steal so far. That's hard to argue at this point, I would imagine. And that's not just speaking on behalf of defensemen. That's just for the entire 22 NHL entry draft. He is the biggest steal by far. You guys know as much about Lane Hutson right now as I do, but I just had to jump on here and say that, yeah, I think Lane Hutson is going to be known as the Ankle Breaker. That's my nickname I want to coin for him because the shiftiness, the edge work, the creativity, the bob and weave even style that he has creatively as an offensive defenseman just makes for such an exciting product to look forward to from a Montreal Canadiens fan perspective, but also just a hockey fan perspective in general. You don't have to be a fan of the Montreal Canadiens to know about this player. He's been tweeted about everywhere, all of his stats, the records that he's breaking in university right now. I mean, we've seen him he's still breaking records as we speak. So the fact that he's able to do that, and he's not even signed yet, the Montreal Canadiens have not even yet signed this player. And from what we're hearing from a lot of folks so far, at least from, fans and maybe even scouts, is that he still may be playing another year at Boston next year. I mean, Lane Hutson is going to be turning 19 years old in just a matter of days now on Valentine's Day. And, it's no shock really at all that he might have to develop for at least another year in university. And I think that's probably a good thing. We don't want to rush this guy. Let's just let him keep building up his resume. I feel like if I had to pick a time, and I was right about Cole Caulfield, and I've told you guys before that this is the most excited I've ever been about a prospect since Cole Caulfield, Lane Hutson. And I think that he will be signed by this time next year. I think that at the end of his Boston University season next year in 2024 is when we're going to see the Montreal Canadiens officially offer him a contract. This offer could come sooner. I could be wrong. I don't see the need to rush him. I think the 24-25 seasons when the Canadiens are going to be competitive again, possibly competing for a playoff spot and more. At least that's my initial gut feeling right now. And Lane Hutson will potentially be a rookie or not even yet. So that being said, I do think the Canadiens are going to sign Lane Hutson in 2024, likely in the springtime when he's finished his time playing at Boston University. I absolutely cannot wait to see this player. He's the Ankle Breaker. Lock it in, trademark it, do what you have to. You heard it here first, but this player is going to be there's going to be a lot more to talk about with him, but I just thought now was a good time while the Canadiens are still taking a little bit of a break here. Well, the break is done now, but still a few days to go before we see another Montreal Canadiens game. So why not talk about this player? We're all excited about him. We're all hyped about him for good reason. So thanks for watching, you guys. Talk to you soon. all my best. Cheers.